Is SEO still worth your time? Or are you wasting time chasing an outdated marketing tactic? In this video, we're going to uncover the truth about SEO, what's working, what's dead, and what you need to do to be able to rank higher on Google and drive more traffic to your site. So let's go. So it's no secret that Google search is quite different today than it was 2 or 3 years ago. And the biggest reason for this is the introduction of AI. While Google's mission is the same, to be able to provide the most relevant results for a search query, Google is integrating AI into Google search quite heavily these days. You've probably noticed that when you make a search on Google, the AI overview often comes up first. Now this AI overview will show sources, but it kind of pushes those 10 blue links below the fold, whereas before those 10 links were at the very top of the page. Since the SEO results do look different these days, this has led to a lot of people saying that SEO is dead. But is that true? Now, I wouldn't go as far to say SEO is dead. SEO definitely looks different than it did, but there's a lot of data that supports that SEO is still alive and well, and I'm going to show that to you in this video. But before we get into that, let's first talk about the things that are not working in SEO anymore. The first thing that isn't working in SEO is keyword stuffing. Keyword stuffing is an outdated practice of putting the keyword that you were trying to rank for in your content over and over and over again. This tactic does not work and has not worked since about 2012, and Google is very aggressive with their spam core updates to be able to combat keyword stuffing. So if you're using keyword stuffing, stop and change your tactics immediately. Last year, there was an unprecedented number of core updates that Google made, and I'm sure that this is going to continue into the future. And websites that did spammy things like keyword stuffing saw huge traffic drops this last year during these spam core updates. So keyword stuffing is just not worth it. Don't do it. The second thing that isn't working in SEO anymore is long guide type content. Now, a couple of years ago, Google was rewarding guide type content, but guide type content is just too confusing now for Google to understand the true intent of what the content is about. And that word intent is the biggest thing that has changed in Google search over the last few years. While having your keyword in your content is still important, what's even more important now is to make sure that the intent of the content matches the intent of the user query. And guide type content just does not fulfill the intent purpose of what most people are looking for. The reason why is because a guide typically goes over any and all the things that have to do with a certain subject matter. Now, while content like this is inherently good, the problem is that a user is typically looking for a very specific answer or has a very specific intent for why they made a search query. So they don't want to have to scroll through a massive piece of content just to find their answer. This is why shorter, concise content is actually performing much better today than guide type content. So when you're writing content, intent is the main thing that you want to focus on. You want to make sure that the subject matter of that content answers that user intent and is optimized with the SEO keywords that have to do with that intent of the search query. So that leads me into the next part of this video, which is what is working in SEO. Well, we just talked about intent and shorter, concise content being one thing that is working for Google. And one of the easiest ways to make sure that you're adding shorter, concise, intent-based content to your website every single month is by using your blog. Blogging is alive and well, and it works super well with helping your website to rank higher on Google for keywords and to get more traffic. Another reason why blogging consistently works right now in Google is that Google is a hungry algorithm. And just like any algorithm, the more that you engage with it, the more it will reward you with traffic and rankings. One of the biggest mistakes that we see people make with SEO is that they don't create high quality content that is intent-based consistently for Google every single month. Now I'm going to show some amazing results for this in just a minute, but it's important for me to explain that there's also another thing that's working in SEO right now that can really complement consistent content creation and help it to kind of just get that boost that it needs on Google. And what I'm talking about is correctly optimized site structure. Now I see this all the time. When I take a look at clients' websites, they often look great, but they're missing the key pages that they absolutely need to be able to rank high on Google. And what I'm talking about are service pages and location pages. Too often I see a website talk about all of their services on one page. And while this sort of format works well for a user, it doesn't necessarily work well for Google. Now, Google's really smart, but it's not that smart, and you still need to spoon feed it the information it needs to understand what your website is about. So for example, if I run a catering service in a large city, I need to make sure that I have specific catering pages for the surrounding cities as well. Now that might sound a little bit redundant, but the reason why is because those become funnel pages that people who are searching for catering in the certain city that's nearby the main city that you're helping to come up in the Google search results. Not only that, it helps Google to understand that you have a web profile that covers more than just one large city. This can also be taken one step further if you offer multiple services in multiple cities. So for example, if you're a plumber that also does HVAC and electric, so you would want to have specific pages for plumbing, HVAC, and electric in each of those individual cities. So having a website that is a good user experience, but also spoon feeds Google the information it needs to be able to rank you high on its search engine is super important and still works. And to prove it, I have some data to show you where we did both site structure optimization as well as consistent content creation. Okay, so for this website, we made a lot of website structure changes around November, and this is pretty normal when you do this. You'll see some pinging and some spiking. So we saw a big spike once we made the changes on the website. It kind of came back down to normal levels, but you can see that the average of visits per month or traffic that these guys were getting was anywhere between 1 and 400, and now we're up to 4,440 visits per month. So from going from 400 visits a month to over 4,440, that's a 900% increase in traffic by doing site structure changes that are optimized for SEO. That's a massive improvement. Now, when you combine site structure changes with consistent content, your keyword profile grows immensely. And that's because Google has a much better understanding of what your website is even about and the supporting content that it has. So since we made these changes, we're now ranking for 708 more keywords that they weren't ranking for before. So you can see here that when we started with them, they actually were ranking for 0 keywords in the top 1 to 3 spot on Google. Now they're ranking for 211 keywords in the top 1 to 3 spot on Google. Now here's another website where you can see that the traffic is a little bit more consistent and has been for a longer period of time. Now we made some site optimizations again in the October-November timeframe, so we had some pinging, we've come back, and while the traffic here is on its trajectory up, what's even more impressive is the keyword data. Due to the site optimizations that we made and consistent creation of content every single month, they are now ranking for 690 more keywords that they weren't ranking for before. And you can see that when we started with them, they were only ranking for about 33 keywords in the top 1 to 3 spot, and now they're ranking for 90 keywords in the top 1 to 3 spot. That's a 172% increase in keywords ranking in the top 1 to 3 spot on Google. Now, 60 keywords might not sound like a lot, but it's huge. That's 60 super relevant keywords that people are looking at and searching for that are coming up number 1 on Google, which gets the majority of click-through rate. Now I have one more incredible example to share with you, but before I do, I just want to put in a quick plug for our do-it-for-you SEO agency services. If you're struggling to get the sorts of results that I've just shown you, come on over to BKA Content. With over 15 years of experience, we know what it takes to craft a winning SEO strategy. And right now we're offering a free SEO content audit where we'll take a look at your website and show you the opportunities that your website has to be able to rank higher for keywords and get more traffic on Google. So what do you have to lose? Come on over to bkacontent.com and sign up for a free SEO content audit today. Okay, so for this final example, we did the same 2 things as we did on the others, which was site structure optimization and on-page optimization, as well as a consistent monthly content creation campaign. And the results on this one are insane. You can see that before we did the optimizations, they were getting about 86 visits a month, and now they're getting close to 2,500 visits a month. That's a 4,801% increase in traffic. Not only that, but you can see that the content that we have created has ranked for tons of keywords versus the content that just already existed on their website. And the most current data shows that their existing content is only ranking for 129 keywords, and the content that BKA has created for them is ranking for over 1,400 keywords, which basically equates to a 1,095% increase in keywords that are ranking on Google. But it gets even better than that. If we take a look at the keywords that were ranking in the top 1 to 3 spot on Google when we started, they only had 20 keywords that were ranking in the 1 to 3 spot on Google. Now they are ranking for 211 keywords in the top 1 to 3 spot on Google. That's a 955% increase in keywords ranking in the top 1 to 3 spot on Google. And we were able to get these amazing results by doing the things that I've talked about. optimized site structure, as well as on-page optimization to making sure that the keywords and the intent are correct on the pages that you have, as well as complementing that with an intent-based, high-quality content creation strategy that's happening every single month. By doing those things, you can get incredible SEO results just like what I've shown you. So this leads us to that magic question of, is SEO dead? Well, right now it's not, and there's a lot of traffic that you can still get to your website for people who are interested with intent, looking for the products and services that you offer. And again, if you don't know where to start, or if you need some help with site optimization and content strategy, come on over to bkacontent.com. And if you're interested in learning more about how to actually rank high on Google, it all starts with picking the right SEO keywords. And if you want to learn how to do that, make sure that you watch this video where we go over in detail how to do keyword research the right way to find keywords that you can actually win and rank for and drive traffic to your website. So click this video and we'll see you over there.